Morning. Yeah, Spokane Public Schools is hardly alone in this trend. In fact, districts across the nation have been seeing this and now are working to try to identify the factors behind it. SPS is doing just that, and they're now implementing new tools that they help teachers get through those early years.
Yeah, there you go.
With 7 years of teaching under his belt, Aaron Watson is still relatively new to the education system. But he's already passed a very important milestone. He's been here for more than 5 years.
First few years, I just know it was super overwhelming.
It's long been known in teaching circles that the first few years on the job can be the toughest. Recent analysis from the National Center for Education Statistics showed 10% of new teachers quitting after their first year, 17% within the first 5 years.
I remember getting into the classroom the first day and I was just like, wow, this is actually my classroom. Now what do I do? I would go home, come up with my lesson plan. I'm all ready and prepared for it, and then it just flops. And then it just got to the point where I said, hey, I can do this. I know what I'm doing. If I make a mistake, it's okay.
Watson was able to push through the early trials and says he loves being a teacher. But Spokane Public Schools was beginning to notice the local effects of a national problem. And after receiving resignation after resignation from new teachers, they're now trying to intervene early on.
So I wanted to know what our statistics were. And what I found was really alarming and a little bit exciting as well. What I found was that of the first 30 papers I collected, 87% of them were teachers who were leaving within the first 5 years. So that's the alarming part. You might be wondering what's exciting about that. Well, what was exciting is the year one teachers who left were not names that I knew, which meant they weren't accessing the supports we provided for a brand new teacher in our district.
And so the challenge then becomes finding those tools that are proving successful and getting them to teachers who are not utilizing them.
Yes.
SPS has implemented many new tools for new teachers. Key among them is their Teacher Mentor program, which pairs newcomers with a veteran teacher. The same NCES data I referenced earlier also shows that teachers who are assigned a mentor are much less likely to leave.
You think that I love kids. They'll love me and they'll do what I want because I love them. And it just doesn't work out that way. It's idealistic.
A little more than 2 months into the job, Megan Larson says she is experiencing the new teacher trials, but she's also now able to lean on new school district supports.
When you get into it and you're not great, I think it fills you with a lot of self-doubt because you've kind of walked this path thinking this is what I was meant to do. And then to get there and not be great at it, that is, I think, why people would probably give it up, because they let that self-doubt kind of fester.
It's one of those things you have to really love it, and if you don't love it, then it's probably not for you. But I really enjoy teaching. I love the students.
You need to give yourself grace because you can be a wonderful teacher and your passion is great, but that doesn't mean you're going to be perfect right off the bat.
In addition to the challenge of keeping teachers in the field, we're also seeing trends of less teachers joining to begin with. In fact, there are fewer students in college studying education, graduating, looking for careers in this field. So clearly a lot of challenges for the education field to keep teachers propelling into the future, helping this next generation of students. But SPS, along with districts across the nation, are trying now to identify those different factors and get these kinds of solutions in place.